So there will be 2 characters in this video shown by the timestamps below, so you can jump to whoever you want because I just want to make sure I played the last custom character. That's primarily why I'm trying to fit two custom characters in. But at least for this first run, we can go with Yogathag Medical History. The second one will be an Aaron run, and that's all I have to say. But otherwise, as always, I always forget to... I'll mention it after the timestamp help. So let's get into Yogathag Medical History custom character with the starting event. And I don't think we start with a weapon. And I see the wooden bat, but I don't think we start with a weapon we can use, is what I should actually say. But yeah, there are 2 characters. Timestamps exist, although if you skip to the timestamp, you would have seen the second character already. Strength, second encounter, Charisma, Takshisan, Dexterity, and maybe a second mystery check. But more importantly, yeah, so the second character is, I mean, I've shown her before, but you'll see when it happens, and it's a character that I've made. Again, the last 3 characters, including the third one, which would be in this video, all of them basically are meant to have used different art styles. As I get Recluse Nails, Recluse Nails, Frogs, Flat, and Scissors, because Scissors doesn't have a custom mystery. That being said, I mean, we start with a weapon. We can take Scissors first. Maybe we save School for 4th, because I want to take care of Flat. Flat, I think, has the harder boss of all 3 of these, minus maybe the ending A boss of Nails, because I have not fought that boss in a while, but... yeah, let's get into Nails first, just in case I need something. And if nothing else, okay, the school's high threat level, I would have been very sad. What are we going Flat? Because we have... oh my goodness, my mind. Oh yeah, we have Recluse, Scissors, so that's school. We have a lot of apartments, basically, and I think Flat takes you to the apartment a few times. I mean, just by the nature of the name itself, but... I don't remember where I'm going. So, Nails, what is my third name? Frogs? I think we'll just put the patrols in the village. And if I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong, because I'm probably not going to be taking track of the location I'll be investigating the most in this particular run, or more specifically, with the 5 mysteries I plan to take. So what I was going to say before the timestamp was that I often forget what I wanted to talk about, because while I'm doing work or just, even if I'm just relaxing on the internet, I usually think of things that I could talk about just by nature of, hey, either I'm doing something and I'm like, oh, that's something interesting I'd talk about, or, well, literally that's what happens generally. It's like something is happening, I'm watching something, I'm listening to something, I'm doing something, I'm reading something, and I'm like, huh, this that could be interesting to talk about. I just dried out my own throat. But yeah, it's not great. I really should just as the second character will have as a quote-unquote mechanic. I was deciding whether or not I was trying to decide what the best way to mention it was, but it's essentially a mechanic. Is this real, by the way? 42, 48. Okay, yeah, it is. Why are we so slow? Also, discharge summary. Oh, we can't pull that up in the middle of this? Well, anywho. Oh, sledgehammer. That's why. At least we can still prep strong. Now, that being said, we can prep strong because we have 7 strength, so... yeah. Are we gonna be okay here, though? I don't think so, actually. If we hit both of these, that would be nice, but 25%? Do I just take 6 stamina damage and call it a day? We do have Recluse, so stamina damage is not the biggest concern here. In fact, we get extra damage, so we actually get to 2... I know I'm saying actually a lot, but what I'm trying to say is to do 22 damage and 4 bat throw damage is a 2-turn, which I will appreciate, because that means I don't lose an extra 3 stamina. But something I will say, now that I think about it, of the many things that I've remembered to talk about as we take Recluse here in autopilot for the rest of this mystery, is that there are interesting AI comments I've run into. I think in the recent videos that's the case, because AI is getting smarter, but it's still not the smartest, and I'll mention this in a 2-parter. The first part, again, being comments on my channel. If you haven't seen the comments yet, just know that there'll be more, just by nature of, I guess, I don't know why, as a 1.xk subscriber channel with, like, 2 digits of viewers, pretty much on the regular. Yeah, I don't know why I get bots, but I mean, that being said, AI and bots, I mean, doesn't matter how big you are. You can have like 10 subscribers with only 1-2 views from unique viewers, and bots will still find you. In fact, one of the 3 viewers might actually just be a bot, which is the case not on this platform, but I'll mention it because I've noticed it before. But on other platforms, let's just say that the botting situation is a lot more prevalent, specifically in the chat, even especially the chat, So, but yeah, with that said, the other part of this, if I remember, oh my goodness, hell, medical history. The other part of this is, what was it? Oh, was that so obviously I do some AI stuff on the side. It's not work, and it's not even for leisure, but I did do research because, funny enough, quick sneak peek into some RPG Maker stuff. I wanted to make a game that kind of looked at basically AI embodied as characters, because I figure basically the driving statement behind that game was that, hey, if AI is gonna take parts of us, information or otherwise, we might as well do the same, right? Like, there's no reason not to at this point, barring obviously legal things, but that's only if I was doing something with AI, which I'm not, because it's inspired by basically the recent times. So yes, I would be jumping on, not the bandwagon, but you get what I'm trying to say. Bow clap, by the way, so timeline B. But what I actually wanted to talk about was basically looking at how AIs, because obviously I've used things, we'll mention specific examples, AI, well, not specific, we'll just say AI assistants in search engines, or just sites that basically use AI as part of a feature, because, I mean, even without my own self-study, I've literally walked by people who use AI, pretty much, asking questions in pretty much every what's the word I want to say? Not occupation, but occupation would be true in this day and age. But personally, I've seen a variety of people use AI, and some of them probably in situations in which they shouldn't be. I don't think they were breaking any laws, so I wouldn't go that far. But it does kind of give me pause to, it's not like I was even trying to eavesdrop or peek at people. It's like, literally, I can't not notice, say, the gray screen of Grok or the white into purple of an AI assistant. That's what I'm trying to say here. And again, I'm not entirely against AI. There are positives and negatives, and you would have to mention specific examples before you can think about that. Bow clap, by the way. But okay, let me get to the meat. So out of curiosity, as someone who's worked with AI before, I gave basically an AI a few prompts. And boy, oh boy, I mean, if you didn't already know, let's just say AI is not perfect. It will fail in enough instances where it's kind of boring, and we'll leave things at that. It was very funny, though. Specifically, it was a topic about manga, and I'll just leave it at that. AI could not figure out anime and manga, which is by far not a serious thing to consider, but in any serious subject, to flip that around, let's just say you wouldn't want to be using AI anyway. But yeah, let's take flat now, because pain, I should have taken flat third, sorry, but I decided to do what I did. Also, our ghost ritual is bow, clap, clap, bow, bow, so hopefully I remember that. But considering that we're in flat now, also, don't I still have cut artery? Yeah, I do. Let's try to get rid of that major injury. But I want to sell more, because I want a pack of cigarettes. Well, I guess the question is, do we have price hike? No. So we can freely get a pack of cigarettes. A brick would be nice too, but no, that didn't happen. If we run into out of fun... Actually, no, let's not risk that. We'll just go the whole mile and prep for funds. That being said, we could sell the bandage as well, but I'll consider it when I need another pack of cigarettes. I shouldn't, though. Even though we have Takushi-san, and that would interfere with Sledgehammer Prep Strong, I shouldn't. If I have to really scrape for, I was going to say the bottom of the barrel, but I've been using that phrase too often. Basically, if I'm so desperate to do some kind of fancy attack play on Takushi-san, then, I mean, I'm not in a good situation anyway. The simpler way to say it is that I should have enough doom to survive the lighthouse. If not, I mean, tragedies do happen, but as my reason just falls to the ground, we're gonna actually rest here. So, before we fight the boss, we do want to pop these cigarettes, which we do so now. If we ran into an encounter beforehand, that would have been very bad, but otherwise, we might be able to do brace attack. I know for sure, just by nature of the sledgehammer's speed, yeah, we wouldn't be able to do brace strong, but this is as good as it's gonna get. Because even if we do this, actually, that's probably better. Because I'm already dealing about 8, no. Actually, yes, because the odds of hitting, never mind, I'm too slow anyway. Well, basically our odds are better here per point of stamina taken than bracing. Now, obviously, I don't want to just go down to 4 stamina and just miss and die, but we gotta do the best of what we've got. So, you know what? I mean, in this instance, yes, we do that. But hopefully we hit both. That's gonna present a little issues. We got cut artery again, by the way. That does not make me happy. But otherwise, we gamble on 95%. And if we lose, well, oh, never mind. That's right. I couldn't fit the strong because, hey, guess what? My attack boosts are slower. So I'll just live like that. That was a disappointing way to end the run, but I have to move on to another character. If you want to see me play the character again, feel free to do so, but thankfully we're not on a Zektas run, although Aaron will be just as bad. We'll move on to our next character. Didn't go as far as I wanted, but I got past my little self-rule that is get past the second mystery. So, without further ado, not really much to say. If you wanted to read the synopsis / lore / the flavor text, feel free to have paused the video. Otherwise, we will start on an Aaron Curious Birthmark run, and hopefully we start with a weapon because we'll need it. Now, that being said, I just realized, I think yeah, I'm pretty sure both weapons we randomized are strength weapons, which unfortunately this character can't use quite well, but we'll stick with it for the moment. Second, dexterity, specifically second mystery, second encounter, dexterity, strength, knowledge, and maybe Takshisan. Now, we can get 8 knowledge. Will we get 8 knowledge? That's the question. Otherwise, I'm going to enable the occult shop just in case we can grab funds. We got nothing in the thingamajiggy, and as you've noticed in the inventory, we have something called the Precious Notebook. That's not a real item, so what's happening here, I've said it before, I'll say it again just to be clear here. Let's go over this first, is that if you use the name, if you give a custom character an item of which there is no item in base World of Horror or that exists, or in the case of Perm, is not a custom item that's prepared with an ETO file, it's pretty much just dead in your inventory and you can't do anything with it. Now, meta-wise, you can turn this into an item that can't leave, whether it's an item that the character does not want to part with in this case, or maybe it's just something that, you know, maybe it's, oh, they can't carry as much because they're weak, or, oh, maybe they're haunted by a ghost that's like, you know, not allowing them to carry other items. You get the point. Anyway, Botanist Festival, Ramen, Phantasms, Arcade. Okay, this is a pretty normal run. Arcade is probably going to be the different one, not by far, but it's probably going to be a bit different, but we can live with this. That being said, max threat level downtown, by the way. Police station, please. Yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment. Otherwise, yeah, the 3 characters I've worked on basically at the moment are all pretty vanilla in terms of they don't really have any specific mechanics. This one would probably be the not greatest one, but be the one that's the most different, even though inventory space is normally not a concern, although there is like 20-30% of the time in which you care about inventory space, especially if you're more specifically if you're in a mystery in which you cannot access the storage and you might need to do a little bit of micromanaging. For example, in Vigil, you might want to get the pamphlet because you don't want to fight the guests because you don't want the doom increase primarily. The guests actually are just good for experience, but maybe you're in Festival but you have like 5 healing items and you need to prioritize which ones you want to take. Things like this, I feel, are pretty important to having inventory space. Another smaller example is, say, you forget the Friend's Diary bow clap sequence on Timeline B of Scissors, or in Timeline A, you don't remember the sigil, and you're just trying to make space. Yeah, then sure, you might want to just keep the Friend's Diary with you, because there's no, if you're not using the space anyway, might as well just carry it with you. By the way, we just lost 4 stamina damage, but That's what the lump of flesh for is in for that encounter. Again, at least that's a really nice quality of life or design decision on that enemy's part. Because yeah, that can ramp up into a lot of stamina damage. I was deciding on what I wanted to pick here. I'm pretty sure the middle one was strength. If not, meh. Strong weapon attacks are slower. That's not great, but that's Aaron. Luck? Question mark? Shrug, I guess. And our stamina is in pain. Are we gonna be okay here? I mean, I know we get out, but that doesn't change the fact that my stamina is low. I know we have the lump of flesh as well, but I guess I have to. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, some micromanaging needed. Another specific example of needing inventory space is if you happen to have a lot of items to throw. Usually that's after you, well, if you're the type to improvise during Dullness or Burning Man, then yeah, you want more inventory space because that extra 3 throw damage, or 5 if you have improvise, is kind of important for getting out of an encounter 1 turn quicker. Unfortunately, we don't get anything here, but we'll take strength. We still have some. We're likely to level up at least twice more in this run, so I should have actually drank the wine bottle beforehand, but hey, and let's take a quick look at our loot. -3 stamina plus 1 knowledge and a spell. Unfortunately, I'm missing stamina, so I can't afford to take that, but we'll try to remember it, because I don't often remember. So, Festival, we could heal stamina there. Thank goodness we don't have television, by the way. Ramen is probably going to be last, so Festival, Ramen as 4th and 5th mysteries. So Phantasms into Arcade, it seems. Now, will I get a big Doom increase? Well, that's up for this knowledge check to decide. Yeah. Of which that first knowledge check is not a good... it's not good foreshadowing. But we'll do our best. Stats still not mattering, but this time in our favor. Doom increases by 1, and we thankfully passed that check. Yeah, that's really interesting. I know that doesn't seem like much, -2 Doom, but yeah, that it's either -2 Doom or like a boatload of Doom. Like, it's pretty tremendous. It's a pretty tremendous difference of Doom, basically. Not that I'm asking for more Doom, or basically for the effect to be lessened, but it is an observation. So thankfully this time we are using, losing reason. And yeah, this Q stick is still pretty okay. I know it does 3 damage, but if you have damage increase like I do, it's not as bad. So now the unfortunate part is we probably could have two-turned this if we had 3 stamina instead of 4, but So yeah, let's see. I am recording this pretty much during the night, so rock ring. Oh, that's right. We have My Weird Collection, Lost Bath. That's not good, actually. So I guess we do eat this lump of flesh. We get bloated for our trouble, but that's fine. I always think that I thought the lump of flesh. There was a point in which I thought it always gave you bloated, but I swear I saw a different curse sometimes. Maybe it's a pool of a specific set of curses, which is why I'm a bit confused. But anywho, into arcade we go. Now, we do have 0 funds at the moment, so actually, you know what? Let's pop into the History Club. Oof. 1 Doom and... 2 stamina for -2 Doom. Normally, I would say that's worth it, but let's just take the Demon Mask instead. I know the Stalker's Mask is, pretty interesting. Again, that's where my damage was coming from. But +1 damage across the board, even better, usually. What do I want to do here? I was for a moment considering whether or not I wanted to get another weapon, but then I'd either have to gamble on curses or take a bunch of Doom, so yeah, that ain't happening. Do I have anything? No, I actually want the Masochistic Curse. And there's more. So we have a lot of stuff for stamina. Demon Mask and Stalker's Mask indirectly by way of giving you extra damage. So if you can just defeat an enemy in 1 turn quicker, then yeah, you lose less stamina, quote unquote. But otherwise, the Stalker's Mask, or sorry, Kendo Helmet directly chance to proc no stamina loss, but I don't often run into that effect, so... Will I survive with 6 stamina? Guess we're gonna find out. I could Witch Tree for stamina, but I'm deciding against it. So, as much as our reason is high, it's the stamina I'm worried about, and I'm pretty sure this arcade machine does... Do I want to fight this machine? I'm gonna insert the token instead. We get Thingamajiggy. That counted as an investigation, and yeah, that gets us out. So, black hair doesn't do anything for me. Brain damage, unfortunately, lowering our knowledge, so maybe I would just want to double up on knowledge, if we get the knowledge perk. Yeah, that would be nice. Otherwise, I would have probably taken stamina there, but... and into Festival we go. So we can get our healing done here. However, oh, that's right. My reason was topped off. Well, hey, but Kazumi's not going to do as much for us. And off we go. We are getting so much slower all the time, which is, yeah, probably not great for this encounter. Now, we have a bunch of masks and stuff to throw. The problem is that we don't have the accuracy nor the speed. So 5 damage, eh? I might just want to kick instead. I do want to just kick instead. That's more damage than the Q stick, funny enough. So 6 damage and throw both masks. Pretty much the way I remember it, even though the Kendo mask did 3. Most masks, if... no, not... Well, I know it's not all, because the Kendo mask did 3. But most masks do 2 damage on throw. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I want to say. Trade off stamina for Doom. And we might be entering our last mystery with 50% Doom. So yeah. It would be nice to keep the light in Akira's eyes here as well. But again, it's stamina that we're having trouble with. So... yeah, did that just make me lose reason for getting ringing ears? What's going on? Anywho. Get away. That's just reason loss. Not that I remember. I said that in the way of actually making an observation, but yeah, off we go. I really don't have anything else to talk about in the moment. Have you noticed? Basically, whenever I run out of things to talk about, or maybe I am just focusing, I like to focus on the game. Again, this channel is primarily focused on gameplay, but there will be more than a few moments, or at least like a near majority of which I just talk about other stuff, because I mean, I think that's a very good thing to do. Also, that's right, we lost Beth. Do we have Takshi's on here? 6th floor. We don't have the 6th floor. I didn't grab the other key. In fact, that was not the end of the run, so I'm just going completely crazy. But, I mean, it's ramen. Not a lot's gonna happen here. Although I do have a lot of items in inventory. If I'm not gonna get the medical kit, we might as well just take the thingamajiggy. Actually, you know what? The baseball might do me better. That being said, so yeah, things like the magic liquor and Medusa mask are custom items, but they're part of the thingamajiggy. That's a very interesting effect, by the way. But unless I run into an eldritch enemy, which I don't think there are any in both the apartments and downtown, unless it's a custom enemy, of course. But that's a different story. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's not likely to happen. We got ringing ears again, and then burns. We have to run. Now, we're almost at the time speed in which we can't run anymore, which is pretty interesting. That is a pretty heavy... that's a pretty heavy indirect effect of Aaron, just slowing you down so much that you can't escape anymore. But until that actually happens frequently, I'm not going to be too worried about it. Because basically, it's kind of more a niche of the... of Aaron. Now, that being said, how much damage does the mask do on throw? We have some trouble. Can't even fit the strong, so all I did was just throw a mask away for no reason. Yeah. So off we go. 2 stamina, lose 2 reason. Leave quietly, and we should be out soon. please let me out soon. I think this is the last one. Sit on the floor. Otherwise, it's second to last, but we'll see. Yeah. So we give the I did not give the meat. I'm going absolutely insane, but would we have leveled up again? I guess let's kind of find... Yeah, we could have actually leveled up again. Well, hey, too late now. But what I can do is take knowledge, so we don't lose as much stamina. But right after that... so this disappears into the Aether. The flare gun does less damage. Army knife and baseball for the sake... no. Handcuffs. So... let's go off to the lighthouse, and at least this run we survived because we didn't make any weird mistakes. I mean, it's not guaranteed that we're out, but it's looking pretty good. We'll rest twice just to be certain. And yeah, we should have more than enough. More than enough. Again, hold on, I did botanist into phantasms, I believe. But yeah, the basic rule is that if you reach the lighthouse with 79% doom, 80% might still be too much. If you reach the lighthouse with 79% doom or below, you will be perfectly fine on doom. Now, obviously, if you have to rest at the lighthouse, then you kind of want to fluctuate. But I assume you take those calculations into account when I say 79% doom or below upon entering the lighthouse. So, yeah, without further ado, again, when my brain is on, it turns out I survive more runs than I don't. But without further ado, if you have anything to say, any suggestions, comments, concerns, criticisms, questions about World of Horror, or just anything else in general, making custom content, so on and so forth, feel free to ask. I will be happy to address or answer any questions if I even can. But yeah, without further ado, not going to take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!